it's expensive to buy Wolfords here, definitely, but they are so excitingly.
They're great, but wow, I had no idea they were that expensive.
Yeah.
Like,
I was then really disappointed to receive a marketing email from them. And I thought, oh, I can't wait to open this and see what they're trying to sell me. And it was fucking socks. I was like, who cares about socks?
I didn't. Yeah, who wants Wolford socks? Fuck you. Welcome everybody to Tight Stream of Mind, episode 9. Today's episode, wherever you are, I don't know where you are, is a very special one.
It's coming to you all from, as usual, the USA, London, England, and Australia, down under.
We do have a global, it's an international, truly international show today because we have one person from the UK, which guess which one of us that is. Then there's another one from Florida, that's me. And then our special guest today is Jayme from Australia. And Jayme has had probably one of the more charmed, like, just laid back, easygoing pantyhose wearing experiences I've ever heard. His stories are a joy to listen to, people.
He seems to have faced all the same sort of like insecurities or thoughts or things a little bit that we've all had, but he seems to quite quickly have just sort of gone, fuck it.
Just rolls off his back. I mean, I gotta say,
he's one of the most similar to you, actually, that we've ever spoken to.
Exactly,
in that way.
But I will say this: I think that he's got it. He has it on me because there were even times where I was nervous about certain things, and he just walks up and just is like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna do this because I like doing this," and you'll see. It's enchanting.
Has there been anything tights related, pantyhose related this week?
Well, other than wearing it. Not anything specific. I mean, like, I have done, like, you know, some, like, sex shows online here and there. Nothing formal, but, you know, no, pretty de rigueur, I'd say.
Are we all right to go into the chat with Jayme?
I think so. I say let's rock and roll, or, you know, let's go down under. How are you doing?
Yeah, going good, thanks, mate. And how you going, Mashit?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have you on, and thanks so much for showing an interest in what we're trying to do here. We can't wait to hear what you've got to say. Let's just like, I think all register for anyone listening that for Jayme over in Australia, I think, what time is it for you?
It's just after 9 p.m. on Saturday night.
A lovely cross-dressing and pantyhose chat from 9 p.m, from 11 a.m. in the UK, and
6 a.m.
What is it for you, King? 6
a.m.
Bloody hell.
That is around the world pantyhose.
Well, at least it's on the same day.
It is, but it's like that kind of is like pretty much around the world. There's not really any more. I mean, there's ocean, and then that's it, right? What are you wearing? Yeah, is the question.
I'm just still wearing the same things I went out for dinner tonight.
So because I remember you said that you in public you have to wear tan. That's what your wife prefers.
Yes. And
then in private you can wear black or whatever color suits your fancy.
We are so limited in Australia. We have basically a couple of different shades of black. You got some coffee shades, which is not very popular, or tan or natural color. That's about it. And there's about 3 companies that do it.
Huh.
What? And is that something to do with the heat or the position on the planet? That's so interesting.
No, we don't have the population.
Really? As in you don't have the market for it?
No, not no more. It was through the 80s and early 90s. It was big. But now, so many women going bare-legged. It's just all the department stores is getting smaller and smaller. Then some supermarkets, you go and have a large collection. You knew which supermarket sold which sizes and what brands, and you go to that same supermarket and there's nothing at all now.
So, King, do you mind? Should we wind back to the beginning and just have a listen to Jayme's story from start to finish?
Okay, so Jayme, we met a few years ago. I mean, for a while now. I mean, it's so nice to put a voice with the legs, as it were. Tell us about how you got started. What was your first time? What was the?
You know what? Honestly, I do not know.
You can't know.
I was probably 5, 6, living in a little country town in the western New South Wales of about 500 people, and I remember I always had pantyhose with me. But I'm an only child, So I had no brothers or sisters, and I never remember seeing my mother wear anything hosiery until I was like 16 or 17. But
Whoa.
always, and I used to wear some under my pajamas, and my mother would always had some. Maybe she bought them for me, but where it actually
Right.
started from, I got not a clue how I got into it. Well, I started wearing it because I always had some, but it was always
Wow.
but my mother never wore.
So can you remember when they first caught your eye, or or is that what you're saying? You can't remember? Can you even remember anything?
I was talking to my grandmother about it one day, and I was said to my grandmother, "Oh, I was talking to my wife, and I said to her about me liking pantyhose, and she said, "Oh, there's one thing. Ever since you were a small boy, you couldn't get you out of pantyhose." And because a lot of my upbringing was with my grandparents, also, and because I had a very young mother, and they said I always wore them under my pajamas, um,
But
growing up till on and off as I got a bit older. But yeah.
but what sounds like you're saying is that you have, I mean, obviously, a very comfortable relationship with your grandmother. I mean, that the way it's almost like, oh, it was so cute, like there wasn't like any of that guilt or that kind of, just like freak out that so many people get traumatized with for you, was there?
No, no, not at all.
That's great.
But
Wow.
my
Yeah.
fetish went down a different path though.
Go on, go on.
That's what's got me is because I remember I must have been sitting there with my grandfather watching a movie, and every bank robber movie always had a,
Uh,
cut off leg or pantyhose or a stocking over their head, and that fascinated me from a very young age. So that's what I really got into wearing them. But when I was on my own, I always had this, or I was with friends and would play goodies and baddies or whatever in the backyard, and I always had baddies, so I always have a stocking over my head,
I see.
and it probably never changed.
So yours sort of developed from, you wore them on your legs, but they developed from the head down. Like it was maybe the legs eventually became part of the wearing of them on your face that got you going.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody who kind of did it in that order. I know that a lot of people who start out wearing and then they go into encasement and that kind of thing. But I've never known that. Have you ever encased, McShear? I don't know if you
I
have.
haven't, but very similar to what James just been saying. It's triggered a distant memory. I'm not going to delve into my story and stuff here. People have heard it enough, or various parts of it. But in the period of time that I've talked about, where I was aware that I was into them and too young to really understand sexuality, but was getting aroused by wearing them and knew that I had to keep it a secret. So I was very young. In that period, I went to a Halloween party with my family, and I went as a burglar, and they put a ripped pair of tights on my head, or pantyhose on my head, exactly what Jamie's just been saying. And I remember thinking, feeling the feeling of joy in my soul at the opportunity to go out with them on my face, but it was the nuance is that I was also really gutted that I was having to pretend that they were on my legs like the girls and the women, but it was close enough for me to get some sort of excitement from, not sort of sexual arousal, but it was at least the tights going on my face, and I was a burglar. And I remember this older gentleman at the party going, "Oh no, you've not got." He called them my mum's ding dongs. He goes, "Oh, you've
Ding
not got your
dongs.
mum." He goes, "You've not got your mum's ding dongs on your head, have you?" And I remember that's another bit of reinforcement at that
Yeah.
age, going, "Oh yeah, this is not good for guys to." Yeah, so yeah, that's but yeah,
Which
I wouldn't be into encasement or wearing them so
you
much now. It's
have
definitely
you
about the
tried it?
feminization.
You tried it? It feels pretty good.
Yeah, I bet it. Sorry, no, I bet it feels really good, but I'm saying it wouldn't turn me on because it would just be something I do because it would be comfortable.
Only time got um I got hassled was by girlfriends when I wore them, not actually by my family. When I was
Yeah,
young.
take us through some of those. Take us through some of those examples.
Yeah, do tell.
Um, I was dating one. Many years ago, I was dating one girl, and it's one thing for ask her to wear, and then you go to a different level when you want to wear with her, and then you just go to a different level altogether when you want to put one over her head, and that's it's a big gamble. I've had some girls that are right into it and accept it, and some just hated it and laughed at me, called me a cross dresser, called me all kinds of names.
Wow.
Because I wanted to wear. But yeah, I've been no.
Because it's the toxic masculinity that is rife throughout female women as well. There's this complete shame if their man isn't man enough. Would you agree with that, Jayme, or am I talking crap?
No, yeah, it's definitely it's really strange that, because you'll see the girl going down the street with a pair of jeans on and the boyfriend's jacket, and no one gets a night. But as soon as a guy puts on some hose and the skirt, he's a freak. It's just double standard, and it's really and it's sad that's the world we live in at the moment.
But I do believe that it's getting better. I really do, because this kind of, like, for instance, this conversation could have never happened just from technology, 20 years ago. So,
and as you're getting on to King, Jayme, your wife now, she does tolerate. Tell us sort of about how that came about, and how and why and what it was like.
Well, I think if I'm understanding, she doesn't just tolerate it, but she actually she enjoys it, correct?
More so the later years, she's been getting right into it with me. At first, it was she didn't understand this guy's obsession with pantyhose, but she never tried to control it. And like any addiction or fetish, if you don't slow it down, it gets worse. It just keeps on growing. But I told her straight away. We started dating. We started dating, and I was sort of friends with another girl, and I said to a couple of mates, I said, which girl do you think I should date? Oh, I'll go with the other one. I said, she's got a nice shape, she's got, she's nice looking, and blah blah blah, and I said, but she hasn't got the personality. She doesn't have the personality though. Oh, it doesn't matter. She looks good. I said, well, so I said to her, I like to wear pantyhose. She said, oh, no, guys don't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then my wife, I said to her, I like to wear pantyhose, and and a lot of times I like to have one over my head while during sex. Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Just
and she said,
wow.
I haven't got anywhere. Show me what you mean. And
that's awesome.
Say that. She said, I haven't what anywhere?
She said she hasn't got any, she doesn't have any, to give you or something?
No, I said to her, this is what I'm into. And she said, okay, show me. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so that's still, my reaction's still valid, because I thought that's just so cool. I might call Jayme one of the most well-adjusted, just hosers that I've ever talked to. I love the fact that you just talk about, you're like, I like to wear them, and I wear them on my head. I'm like, that's after my heart, because it's,
yeah,
it's definitely just I don't give a shit attitude, and good for you.
Then we had sex, and after that, while we're having sex, I pulled one out of the drawer out of my bedside table, and I put it over her head to see what she'd do, and she just let down, and she had a hair and a nice bun, and
wow, that is amazing,
and
that is so cool.
We joke about stuff anyway, like all the time. She said, she went a little while ago. She went down the hairdressers and got a trim and all niced up, the hair all done nice. And I said, oh, it looks nice. And she turned around and said, well, it don't really matter tonight. I said, why not? She said, well, I'll have a stocking over my head and you won't see it anyway.
She sounds great.
Probably 15 years ago or more, we went out west, out in the country, New South Wales sort of thing. And we noticed we've got a shopping centre called Coles here.
Yeah, we have them here too.
It's spelled different. This is more of a food supermarket than clothing.
Oh.
Over there.
Gotcha.
And they were getting rid of the pantyhose we were using for sex, and because they were cheap, and they're all large, and they're good for encasement and all kinds of fun things. And I said, and so they're getting rid of them. And then we decided to go for a holiday. Then we stopped, and we didn't have internet on our phones. We stopped at an internet cafe, and she said, "Well, this is the areas we're going to go within, reasonably for you guys, off the beaten track, no more than say 30 to 40 miles out of our way. These are the sites we want to see." And then she worked out, this is the Coles stores we want to see, and we'll zigzag between Coles supermarkets and sightseeing spots we want to see. And
this is in Australia. Sorry, just to clarify.
And this is in New South Wales and Australia. And then,
right,
so we just ended up going away for like 2 weeks, and we hit a lot of different Coles, and we found that they still had a lot of stock. So we ended up being on holiday and pantyhose buying spree, basically.
You cleaned them out.
And
you know what? I'll tell you what.
Say that again, Jayme. Say that again.
You got your little shopping basket. You got a shopping basket each. You got some snacks and some pantyhose in one, and the second basket's just full of pantyhose. And you just, you're running up sort of $40-50 and just buying a big bulk lot of pantyhose, and the cashier's just looking at you odd and think,
"You're going to rob a bank?"
So everyone's got that story about building up the courage to go to a shop,
yes,
and buying a pair. And whether you go on your phone and pretend you're buying them for a girlfriend, or you pretend to be getting them for a costume, or you get loads of other shit as well to make it look like they're just an extra thing. Whatever the story is, everyone's all. I don't know if everyone's the same, but the idea of a girl taking me out, or even better, my girlfriend taking me out and going shopping with me for them. You've gone and done that not only in one shop, but on a holiday or a vacation.
And not only
pantyhose holiday.
Not only that like she came up with the idea of like, okay, here's where we're gonna go. Like she found the strategy and laid it out, and was like, it was like Bonnie and Clyde of the pantyhose. Like they're just like going in, just like taking
Bonnie
it
and
out.
Tights.
That's awesome. Wow. See,
that's the name of this episode, Bonnie and Tights.
We'll call it that. Yep, that sounds good to me.
I went to a party. A dear friend of mine. We've been friends since we were children. I went over to his place, and there's 30 people there. Couples, a lot of couples there. I've turned up, and I'm sitting in the lounge room. The lights are dim. There's a movie playing because the kids are sitting around. Some have got kids, and they're all sitting around. And I'm sitting on the one side on a little footstool sort of thing. And then my mate's wife says to me, no, not even shy about it, "Oh, do you wax or just shave your legs?" And I said, "Oh, I shave them." She said, "Oh, in this light, look like you're wearing pantyhose." And I pulled out the thing. She said, "You are wearing pantyhose." And then all of a sudden, I had everyone's attention. And then
whereabouts was that? Whereabouts was this?
At a birthday party.
Oh right, yeah, got you.
And then one of the guys I've only met a couple of times before, he said, "Yeah, I could have told you Jayme was wearing pantyhose." And his wife turned and said, "Of course you noticed, because you wear them too." And it sort of got, had a few guys question me about it.
Yeah.
I said, "How come?" I said, I like wearing them.
Exactly.
I said, I could sit there and tell all this spool about, it helps with blood circuit and health. That's a load of crap. I said, "Yeah, I just like wearing them." Okay.
Oh,
well, no
wow.
worries.
Thank you.
And then it was forgotten about then. No one questioned me. No one looked at me funny.
Oh my God.
And we sat around the big table all eating, and no one cared less after that.
That's just absolutely fantastic. That's brilliant.
I did live in Florida for a few years, so everyone down south, but they never class. So many people are from up north moved to Florida, so it seemed like you go through Louisiana and Kentucky and Alabama, and that's south. You move again, you go to Florida, but that's not south because so many people from north moved.
Yes, exactly. Everybody's from like Connecticut for the winter, like you basically like it's like everybody's coming down from New York City or New York, and yeah, it's a mishmash. It's a lot of different people. But how did you end up again in Florida? By the way,
I watched too many car and truck movies as a kid and wanted to be an American trucker.
Wow.
So I've been to all 48 states with freight, with pick up and drop off freight. Yeah.
Did you ever do that wearing tights?
Not really. I wasn't wearing them full time. Always had some in the truck with me, to sleep in and stuff. But just wearing around in public, I never did back then.
It's great. You've got this trucker, Australian trucker. You've got this sort of bloke doing a really masculine job, doing an awesome job driving around the whole of the USA. But you've got these tights stashed away in the back. I just love the sort of hidden life going on in that world.
Yeah.
Then when did you first officially wear publicly? What was the first time you did that, and when did it become part of your the daily wear?
It was, I'd guess it'd be 10, 11 years ago. And
Wow.
I would just, because I wasn't shaving my legs. I'm not a very hairy person as it is, but I always wore black. And it was more of a hung around town, hung around the house, sexual reasons. And then I decided just lazing around the house. And one day, my wife wasn't that happy with me because we wanted to go somewhere, and I really didn't want to go. I was too happy just lounging around the house in pantyhose. And then one day, a couple of days later, she come home from her job in the afternoon, late evening actually, and we're just standing in the kitchen talking, and she looked down at my legs and went, "Oh, you got pantyhose on?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Your leg hair gave it away." She said, "You're not very hairy anyway, but I could see it." She said,
Yeah.
"If you wanted to wear full time, because I never wear long pants," she said, "I reckon if we shaved your legs and you wore tan or nude, you'd get away with just walking around in public."
Yep.
Okay.
Oh wow!
We'll
She
try
sounds
that.
like an absolute angel.
I was gonna say, like, everybody listening is like, where can I find a woman like that?
And
That's a woman.
Started. I remember going out by myself because she had to go to work, and I stepped outside one day, and I was so nervous. I went into the local shopping mall, and I'm going, everyone's looking at me. Then I looked at everyone. I thought, hey, wait a sec. Everyone's too wrapped up in their own life.
Exactly.
Compare about some guy in a pair of pantyhose that you can hardly notice anyway.
Exactly. That's so true. I mean, that's the thing. Is like nobody really cares, and if anybody does, it's for one reason. They're into it. Even if they were not, even if they hypothetically gave you crap, doesn't matter. They're into it. You know they are, because if you take the time to like say something to somebody about something, that means that you care. And it's just, I wish that if everybody like who wore hose secretly, just if there was like a national like wear your hose out day, it would be mind blowing to people. Like how many guys do it? Like so many.
I think the other reason people might stop and stare is out of not out of judgment or anything negative. I think
Fascination or sexual
if
attraction.
I'm walking through London and a transvestite, I don't know if that's PC. I think we've talked about that before, but a cross-dresser walks past me or a drag queen, then people double take, and I do. I'm like, out of pure delight and desire, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? I go, oh my god, that's fantastic, and I want to look at them, and I think that is an element of that, surely sometimes, and that's not a reason not to do it. I'm just saying,
no.
If people look, there's going to be people that want to look and talk about it out of surprise and delight, hopefully.
Well,
then, as you say,
I mean,
if
you know,
it's negative. It's probably. Yeah.
Remember the story I told you about when I was training my client at the gym, and the one guy like literally couldn't speak because of my legs. When I was like, I caught him staring, and he was just like, nice legs, and just walked away.
So
he was.
You were saying that they're they're hard to get hold of in part of Australia you're from. Is that the same? Like, does your wife wear them to work? Does she wear them socially outside of the bedroom, or her or any of her friends? Like, have you ever had that discussion or found that information from her or just picked it up from people talking. Like, do they exist in the culture there day to day at all anymore? For women, even.
Sometimes, like when you go into Sydney CBD, it's Darling Harbour. It's a very nice, lot of restaurants and eateries and sightseeing, and it's packed all the time. But when you go through there, it's actually quite surprising how many girls and ladies do still wear pantyhose. But we went up there to see a play. Took her to see. Actually, it was Dirty Dancing, the musical. I took her up there for her birthday, and we walked around Darling Harbour, and I got to about 300 Asian women that I've seen wearing pantyhose through the day. I was just sitting there counting them, going, "Oh wow, look at all these!" And then the businesses started closing up, and there's a big bridge goes across one to the other, and I was just watching them come across, and I'm just doing my own thing. And my wife nudges me, "Check that out, check her out. She's got a nice pattern on her pantyhose. Wonder what she's wearing. I wonder what they are."
That's fantastic.
Because we do have a Wolford store in Sydney.
That's so great.
We went up when she was at the shopping centre one day, and she said, "Did you see that shop?" I said, "No, it was a pantyhose shop. It looked like just sold stockings and pantyhose." And I've gone, "I missed it." So next time we went through that area, I had stopped and had a look. But it just, in Australia, it's so expensive. It's like $140 for a base pair. Then the price is up.
What, really?
And I thought, and I looked on eBay and stuff like that, and it was actually a lot cheaper to buy some out of England and have them shipped over to me.
Oh my God. $140?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, that's because it's Wolford's is a very expensive brand.
I know,
but pairs for my girlfriend and I. But
$140 for a pair? Did you say?
Yeah, that was
because make sure even here in America, they're only like $50 in America.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I bought some Wolfords and they were £60 each. So it's £120 for two pairs, which is about that's about $150 US.
No, I mean, like the neon 40s. I'm assuming were the ones that like you were talking about.
Oh, I can't. I'm not very good at.
Oh, because
I don't bother with anything too expensive because I go through so many.
So you knew how you felt and what you liked, but there must have been a time when you went online and started recognizing there was this community out there. When you first realized that there were blokes that cross-dressed fully with tights on or pantyhose and behaved like maids or wanted to be dominated or degraded, what was your opinion of that the first time you sort of became aware?
It didn't really do much for me at all, actually. It wasn't like I could understand it. I was going, okay, we all like different stuff, and I could say, I can understand that, but it's not for me. But seeing the all the different types of fetishes, all spanning from basically one item of clothing, I still found it quite intriguing, actually. A couple of weeks ago, I was in another shopping centre, and as I was walking, two cross-dressers walked past me, and and they both looked at me, and one said hello, and I said hello. I said, "Can I ask you something?" And one of them said, "Yeah, what? Are you going to hassle us?" I said, "No." I said, "I just would like to know that you put a skirt on. Where's your pantyhose?" And I said, typical girl. She said, "Why?" I said, "Well, look at my legs. You can see my legs." And she said, "Oh, you're wearing them." I said, "Yeah, and you're not. You put a skirt on and forget your pantyhose. You got to complete your look." And both of them were. Well, they actually one was very passable and one was sort of passable, but both of them in heels, skirts, bare-legged.
Wow. What did they then go on to say? Did they sort of say, "We'll try it. We don't like them"? That's amazing.
Yeah, they said, one said, I have to get some more, and one said, I really don't like them. But there.
You schooled them.
Oh my gosh.
Schooled him.
Yeah, that's a great story. I mean, I'm so glad you had that. I've thought about wanting to talk to other cross-dressers and drag queens about it before, and I did speak to a drag queen once, and their reaction was like, "Ugh, tights. I only use them to hide my cock and to give myself some hips." They were like, they sort of don't get off on them in the same way that I do.
You got to bet. You talked to one. That was a bummer drag queen. Like, trust me, there's plenty out there that are cool with it. Yeah, because I think just the only time I've ever heard really negative is like they're like, oh, we have to put on like 6-7 pairs and then dance in them for like 3 hours, which that would be rough to do.
Too much of a negative. It was more a sort of comparison to the anecdote of Jayme's just there, where it's just I'm just really glad that you stopped and talked to them. They must have at first, like they said, been like, oh my god, is this guy gonna have a go at us, or have an
it's so, and
it must
isn't
have
it
been
great?
so nice for them to hear. It must be so lovely when you were just genuinely sort of relating to them effectively.
Yeah, it was
And
good. They were quite friendly, but yeah, they said they get noticed a few times and get weird looks and stuff, but that's who they are. That's the way they like to dress, and that's how they like to go out.
That's
Did
so
they
great.
question you at all? Did they question you on why and what you were wearing?
Yeah. They said they just asked me what do I wear. I said, well, I said to them, I don't dress. I just have a pantyhose fetish, really. And they said, oh, okay, no problem. And then one wanted to go, so I said, I shook hands and said, oh, goodbye, and off I went back to my car.
The shaking hands bit is brilliant. Just this guy in shorts and tights and then these two cross-dressers who hate tights. It's this sort of merging of men in a pub drinking pints. Pleased to meet you, mate. See you later. And these sort of different streams of feminine desires to be feminine coming out all in one big sort of ball of.
And what's interesting is the lesson to be learned here is that they so didn't notice that he was wearing that they were like, are you going to hassle us? Like, imagine that, like, the first, and obviously they feel that way for a reason because people are assholes. But, like, the funny twist there is that the guy's wearing pantyhose and they don't even notice it. Like, that to me, that's progress. That's progress.
Because I wear tan or nude most of the time, and it's just, I've probably only been noticed in the last 10 years, I think 6 times that I'm wearing, and 5 of them times I got a thumbs up. But other than that, one guy sort of gave me this weird sort of look. He didn't say nothing to me, but he just sort of looked at me and then looked at me up and down, and I went. But then he spoke. I went, he's gay anyway. So he's there. I could understand the look. The look he gave me was, I don't know, sort of it's the way he sort of looked at me odd, then wiggled his hips, and I went, and then he spoke something to his friend.
He gave you the up and down. That's what he gave you the glad eye. Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was checking you out. Did he make you feel like a piece of meat? Because that's what women feel like every day. It's like, if you want to ever like know what women go through on a daily basis, go to a gay bar. You'll be like, oh my god.
Is that what you were saying, Jayme? Is that because I thought that you started saying that by saying there was someone sort of judging you from a derogatory point of view. You said you're gay anyway.
The way I took it was the way you sort of looked me up and down, like, why are you doing that? But yeah, most of the time I've had one guy. I was just walking through a park, and he sort of just looked at me, but he was sitting down with some kids. He had his kids playing at a playground in the corner, and there was a marketplace on near the inner harbour, just south of Sydney. And he's looked at me, looked at my legs, and then rubbed his own leg and gave me the thumbs up.
Nice.
I thought, it's just been noticed.
I thought of when Jayme there said there's people that have looked at him, given him a thumbs up, and rubbed their leg. It's like a little. That's like.
It's a thrill, like to have somebody come up and tell you have nice legs when you're wearing them. It's sort of it is.
But it's also a little wink and a nod at, hey, I'm the same, isn't it? Isn't it a solidarity moment as well?
I mean, that one is pretty unique in a sense that he was giving like an affirmation. But I do think that if somebody comes up and says nice legs, that's also the same thing. But let's say hypothetically, the guy who gave him the up and down like look and the weird look or whatever. Now let me ask you guys something. if you guys have ever walked by another person and you check them out like that, where you look at them from top to bottom, what are you thinking when you see that person? Because for me, if I'm doing the up and down on somebody, that means that I'm into them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I do. So I feel like the guy might have been a little homo repressed and couldn't deal with the fact that he was, you know, seeing somebody wearing pantyhose that he probably wears in private and was, you know, got that like twisted feeling. That's my thoughts on it. I don't know. What about you guys?
Well, even if it's not specifically about tights or pantyhose or cross-dressing or being gay, if it's not any of those sort of four, it could be that there's just some level of insecurity somewhere within him, and therefore anytime anyone does anything other than the status quo, it's that habit that exists. We call it toxic masculinity, but it's that habit where the default is to make sure that you're they're above them on the social hierarchy in that moment. So it's that sort of moment of, all right, there's a...
But like when you check somebody out, when you look at somebody up and down, when you go from head to toe, is that I only do that if I'm interested sexually in somebody?
Yeah. I do it normally when it grabs my attention. Don't know if I'm interested.
Yes, exactly.
Big sexy pair of legs or pair of tights and so on. I can't. I do my best to look away. I'm like, who can see me staring? Like, on the tube, I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like sweating, trying to look anywhere. Then I try and find like a reflection in a window and go,
avert your eyes.
I can stare at the reflection of her legs. No one knows I'm looking at his or her legs because I'm doing it in a cheeky way. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, no, I get it totally. You don't want to be a like a lech, but at the same time, like, you know, staring at somebody's legs is not that bad, I guess. Like,
I try not to make it obvious, but yeah, if I see a lady walking past and she's wearing pantyhose, I go, and I'll sort of trying to make it not obvious, but yeah, I'll make sure I have a good look.
Exactly. So
with the wife, she'll sometimes give me a nudge and tell me to look over my shoulder discreetly, and there'll be a nice pair of legs behind us.
Oh my god, she's not just an angel; she's an absolute goddess.
I feel like McShear is. I mean, how bad do you want to interview this lady? I mean, she just sounds like
I'm
how bad?
My girlfriend is really accepting and now
has
fun with me. But in public, it's the opposite. She's like, don't you be staring at her legs. I know you're staring at her legs. I'm like, oh.
Oh, well, you know, that's fair enough, though. That's fair enough.
No, I know. That's why I make light of it. She's quite
Jamie's wife is like,
yeah.
She's like she is literally like the dream of like every like hose wearer guy out there. They're like,
it's like in the movie of this world, this character, this Jayme, she's not real, and he's got this imaginary wife that he believes is real, giving him the perfect.
How long have you been married now?
We've been married 9 years and together nearly 20.
Do you ever talk about it with her in a sort of analytical, psychological way? Like, does she have the same curiosity about
Would
why
she
you
come
feel
on a
this
show?
way?
Would she come on a show, do you think? Would she ever be a guest on a show?
I guess so, she would. I'll ask her.
Please do. She helps you celebrate that part of yourself, right?
Yeah, she's never held back. Never tried to hold me back through any pantyhose. I said to her, oh, you know, there's this lady. She's a very sexy podcast, and I said, and she got a Patreon with a pantyhose tier. So she said, well, you know, it's got to do with pantyhose, so go and join it. And you guys turned up, and I've gone, wow. She said, I'm going to join this one too. She said, yeah, if you want. It's all about pantyhose, and she understands.
Same for me. The amount of time it takes to do this, I had to tell my girlfriend. She's been really. I'm really learning about how lucky I am that she's going. Mm-hmm. You know what? This isn't just something he's going to ever switch off. And it's turned into. It wasn't always easy, but it's become a lot better. And as I say, even doing it now, producing a show, that sounds like you. It's really. Why shouldn't we be able to do it? It's not like we can go out in life and just live and breathe and have it. So thank God we've got understanding partners. And King, I know the people you sent to see are hosers as well.
I make them understand.
She probably understands. It's like, you know what? In the real world, there are still too many stories and reasons why we can't just relax and be ourselves, quote unquote. sort of completely risk-free. So why not have the opportunity to join in these communities? I think it's great.
And we can learn a lot from Jayme. It's if you're very charmed, very awesome experience, with Pantyhose. It seems like as far as the road goes, you've had a very nice interaction with it. And this is an example of what non-judgment can end up like. That's sort of. That would be my takeaway. And by the way, I did figure out, make sure we actually do have 10% female listeners. So there are 10% of women listening out there. So maybe this rings true. I was looking at the wrong demographics.
Are you into stockings as well? Before we wrap this up, did you?
No, not really.
Stockings, make sure, really.
Just because he says sometimes he puts one on his head or one on her head. No, I wondered what he meant.
I think he means pantyhose, just like pantyhose leg.
I've bought stockings, just for masking as well, or I'll just take I'm clean shaven and we're getting on, and it's just nice. I'll grab a fresh pair of pantyhose, cut the legs off, and we put them over our heads. Yeah, quite a lot for sexual fun.
Applause.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to discuss or say before we head out, Jayme?
No, not really. Just that if you're gonna wear out public, just shave your legs and go for it. A little while ago, I was getting ready for bed and I had black pantyhose on, and the wife said, "We've got no milk and stuff for breakfast." And I said, "Oh, I'll duck down to the gas station, we just call it a servo, and I'll get some." And it was busy as, and I thought I'll just throw on some sneakers, just loosely slip-on ones, in a pair of shorts, and I've just gone down there, and here I am sitting in line in a pair of black pantyhose. I'm going, and then I've got my milk, paid for it, turned around, big lineup of people behind me, and I looked at everyone, and not one person gave me a second look. And I was in black pantyhose and thought,
yes,
no one really cares.
That's what's interesting, Jayme. I'll say this real quick, is that for me, when I started testing the waters and wearing publicly, I wore black out first because I felt that was easier to camouflage into like a gym outfit or anything that was like sort of athleisure wear, whatever they call it. It wasn't until like after that I had the bravery to put on just regular nude. And it's interesting that for you, it seems like the reverse is true, but it just goes to show you, right? Like if really, truly people are just, they call it the invisible audience syndrome, that in teenagers are really affected by it, where they really feel like everybody's watching, but we still carry it to a degree when we're older. And it truly is that. It's like nobody, like most people can't be, as they say in the UK, right? Can't be bothered, can they? No.
Can't be asked.
Can't be asked. Asked.
Oh, I can't be dealing with that right now is another one.
And then Australia just nowhere. No.
Jayme, thanks so much for coming on and sharing all of that. It's going to make a lovely episode.
Thank you so much, Jayme. It's been great.
Yeah, no worries. I'd like to speak to you again, actually. That's at some future date.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. See you later.
All right, see ya. It's so nice to hear somebody finally say to call bullshit on the I wear pantyhose for circulation because I have poor circulation.
Well, like, I just loved it when he said that he was at the party, and when someone said, "Oh, you are wearing pantyhose," and then the guy said, I could have told you that," and then his wife goes, "Yeah, that's because you love wearing pantyhose." I was like, that is amazing.
And for me to be laughing that hard at like that early in the morning, I was having fun.
That's sort of this week's episode taken care of, right?
I think so. Yes, I believe that we've done our duty to the country of pantyhose. And what we do have coming up on future episodes is, wait, I can't tell you about that. You want to know why? Because we have an NDA with God, and if we violate it, he'll strike us dead.